and welcome to another episode of 4Tim's podcast. You join us sort of in familiar surroundings. We are live on the ACSOM charity weekender. It was one of the highlights of last year. I know there wasn't many to compete with, but for us it was brilliant and raised a lot of good money for good causes. And it's the same again this year. They are raising money for St Mary's in the birthplace of Celtic, and the last I seen it was close to £20,000. Fully expect to break that, and I see they've got a charity auction coming this week as well. So check out that. There'll be a link in the video wherever you're watching, with a link to the GoFundMe to raise some money for those who really need it at this time of year. But we'll just jump in it. Tony, I'll come to you.
Hold on, Dan. Hold on.
Oh, sorry, Danny. On you go.
I've got technical difficulties, so I can't go on the screen. The jumper is safe. Nothing's happened. Jumper is safe. And if we win the League Cup, I'll post a picture on the pod page with the jumper on.
The listeners will be, the viewers even will be devastated, because I was just watching Gig Pod there. They were brilliant, but Reed's curtains weren't anywhere to be seen. So no Reed's curtains and no Danny's jumper. It's a big letdown from last year. But
aye.
But we're in better mood than we were this time last year. Celtic won comfortably 3-0 at Tannadice today, and also the Celtic women's team won the League Cup. So big congratulations to Fran Alonso and the girls. Tony, as I say, compared to this time last year when we come on a Celtic State of Mind charity weekender, it couldn't be any more different. Like, we were pretty united against the manager. Celtic were in a terrible run of form. We did have a cup final coming, but at the same time, it's just completely roles reversed from 12 months ago. So what did you make of this Sunday?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the fans were united last year for a kind of, they wanted change, and I think the fans are once again united, but this time it's fully behind Ange Postecoglou. It's been a crazy kind of first 6 months of the season. He's managed to get us into the Europa League. Obviously, we will still be playing in Europe after Christmas. Not in the Europa League, unfortunately, but we've got a crack at the Conference League. We're in the League Cup final. We're only 4 points behind in the league, and I think we've got the best defensive record in the league. So it's been a much better season. I think it's going to require still a lot of patience. We know we don't quite have the squad where we want it yet, but if you look at just the last week, I think it's been exceptional. Tough games home against Aberdeen and Hearts, but we really needed to dig the result out, and we managed to do it. As I say, it's tough games, but I give a lot of credit to the manager and the players for making sure we get the win. And I thought the day was absolutely tremendous. A joy to watch for the first minute until the last. I was really proud of the performance today. I thought the work rate was excellent. I thought some of the passing was superb. Tom Noggett's goal was sublime. It's world class. It's probably a contender for goal of the season. Even the second goal was just such a great pass by McGregor. It's a great touch by Turnbull, and he puts that away after it's by the keeper. And then I was delighted for Liam Scales. It was great for him to get his first goal for us. So just a really all-round perfect display. And it was a potential banana skin. We know Rangers have already lost at Tannadice this year, and that's 3 games in a row. We've went in 7 points behind, massive pressure, and we've got the result. But today was really comfortable, really, really good to see. The only criticism I had is they should have scored more goals. The finishing should improve, and I don't mean that to have like a proper go at them, but I think they would know that themselves, that they could probably have scored 5 or 6 today quite easily. As people can tell, it's a lot different mood than last year. We're a lot happier. As long as Celtic Football Club are winning, then we'll be happy. So delighted, and it's great to be back on a Celtic State of Mind. And they're doing some great work once again. So big credit to them and everybody else that's been on so far.
Yep, there's been so many great Celtic pods on, so we're delighted to take part again. Danny, as Tony mentioned, it's been a pretty solid week for Celtic in terms of the schedule. The Aberdeen last week, then Hearts on Thursday night, and then Dundee United the day. We've took 9 points out of 9. It's massive games for Celtic in December. As we know, the schedule's not going to get any easier, but I think without doubt the performance of the 3 was today, especially the first half. I thought Celtic were absolutely electric.
And it was a good start of the game. It was really good like Thursday night, we started pretty quickly, and I thought we'd actually lost that fever play in the last couple of months, but we were right at the time. I think we had like 2 corners in the first 2-3 minutes. Kyogo should have scored them as well, so we flew out the traps, and then where we've maybe struggled to break teams down at times, we've not got that goal after 15-20 minutes. Today Rogic does that for us. That was brilliant, but then more importantly, picked it up, we didn't sit back. It was just a total dominating performance, and then you get a 8-second goal. It's one of the 2 of the best goals all season, and us scoring, I thought the whole play for the second, Rogic's touch to bring the ball down, and then the pass to McGregor, and then chip for McGregor's brilliant, and Tumbolt's a great touch, and for Tumbolt to touch it like that and do it, but if you watch it, he keeps his eyes on the ball the whole time. It's brilliant concentration. It for Tumbolt, because I thought I think he's playing within himself now. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. I think you can see it, and he did thank F when he scored. You could see it visibly when he mouthed it. I think I was delighted something good happened to him, so I thought he played really well as well, but I thought the whole team, it's difficult to pick like a star apart for, say, Rogic, or maybe the Starfelt, who I thought was excellent again. But it was just a good performance, and it's, we keep getting better and better under Ange, and this is like another kind of milestone, a kind of yardstick where, like, well, this is probably the most complete performance, certainly in the league, under him.
Aye, I think a lot of what he says about David Turnbull's spot on, because Ange said that in his post-match press conference as well. He said that David Turnbull's pretty hard on himself, and like, he definitely missed easier chances today. But as you say, I thought as much as Tom Rogic's the opener was just an absolute piece of magic and individual brilliance, like you're so used to seeing with Tom Rogic, but I thought that second goal was just exquisite. I thought the way, as you mentioned, Cal McGregor playing it through, and for me, one of the most pleasing things of that, Danny, I'll come back to you, was the fact that we had midfielders breaking into the box like that, and I just thought the touch from Turnbull, the wee chip, and then the sort of pirouette and putting it in, like as you said, like it was a bit of relief amongst them, but I thought that's what's really been missing. I think people want to see that from Celtic midfielders. You look at guys like Stuart Armstrong, even way back to guys like Stan Petrov, Celtic fans love their midfielders like breaking into the box like that.
It's something that we've been lacking, is somebody to break into the box. I think it was maybe it was Messi today, but I thought, because he scored, but I thought Turnbull made a really good effort to get into this. He missed 2 really good chances before he scored. I think he actually tried to bring that one down at the chest. I think he tried to stop it and then put it away. I don't think he was trying to score with his like stomach or whatever. I think he was trying to bring it down. It was just a bad first touch. Cedar I thought was unlucky, but he probably should do better. But Turnbull's, it's an odd one. He had such a good year last year, and people at the start of the season were thinking, no, is it because we were such a team that he stood out a wee bit, and I was defending him, but kind of deep down I was thinking, well, maybe they're right. But he's played every game. He started every game for Ange, so we're happy to praise Ange for Everton, and rightly so. Ange gets a lot of credit. Also picked David Turnbull every time he's picked a Celtic team, so that must say something about the trust Ange has got in him. And Ange was saying today that actually he's still learning to play this new position playing, so hopefully we can see him get on the end of more passes like that for McGregor and score a lot more goals, because he's got amazing quality. I mean, I don't think his are great. I think, it'd be great if we could have, like, when we got a few free kicks a day and then around the box, and what you would do for like an Ake, and we've got like Mikey Johnson and Turnbull lining up to take him. So, but Turnbull for me is going to be important, and if Turnbull can up his game, I think he's a very good. I think if he can up his game even further, it will point us in a good direction going towards the league.
Definitely, he'll be an important player, as you say, one very few who's played in every game. So, hopefully he does keep it up. I know it was his 8th goal of the season, but Andy, I'll come with you. It was, since we've been on, we've not been on since the Hearts game on Thursday night, Celtic lost the likes of Jota, Stephen Welsh and Anthony Ralston to injury. We have seen the defence sort of bolstered with the return of Carol Starfelt on Thursday and then Greg Taylor the day. It's another clean sheet for the team today. What did you make of the defence and the performance in general?
As you said, obviously a couple of players get injured, and people were probably worried, is the best word to use, getting into the game, and how we would deal with injuries and how we would cope with. Ralston's been an important player. Jota, sort of what he's been doing recently speaks for itself. So I think there was, like you said, a lot of people talking about potential banana skin, potentially dropping points, which would have been a fucking disaster. But the team itself rose to the occasion, and I think it's no far off the mark to say it's arguably our best performance, most complete performance so far, coupled with a clean sheet, which is brilliant. The defence gets a lot of criticism, and again, the day it's a different defence which played the last game. Granted, injuries forced that, but it is shown that if when you did lose Greg Taylor, with obviously Juranovic came across, but Taylor's came back in, and once again it's a really, really good performance for him. As a guy, I think it gets a hard time, but at the end of the day, he's our best left back. And I've been speaking for long enough about how much I was looking forward to Juranovic sort of getting to play his natural position. And I thought we've seen a lot of quality out of him as well. So the space he takes up. Aye.
Do you think that's Angie's first choice back four and five if you count Hart that played the day? Is that the first time he's been able to line up that?
Aye. I've said it before. I think that Ange actually quite likes Greg Taylor, particularly because he asks him to play inverted, and when he comes in, I think he's much more comfortable in the ball than sort of he's given credit for in the position. So I think Ange actually likes that. And let's be honest, I've said that a million times. You don't buy a Croatian international right back to play him left back. That's just not why you sign a guy like that quality. But again, I think Starfelt he really is sort of settling into the role, settling into what he's been asked today. And there's so much to be positive about the backline. We've conceded such a little amount of goals in comparison to what people were fearing, really. There's a lot of talk about the way it was going to be this sort of all-out attack football, and we'd potentially be winning games 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, and there was a lot of fear about that. But I think you're seeing that the way that sort of we go about the game and the way that we're pressing there's a lot to sort of look forward to defensively. And I think you've seen that today, but we don't get up a lot of chances. And when we do, we've found ourselves obviously a very good keeper who he has pulled out big saves when he's called upon. Defenders have been sort of had their big moments as well, but I'm really, really happy about it, Dan. Buzzing with the performance. Seeing Big Tam in full flight again is just amazes me that we were at a stage where we were looking to ship him off to fucking Qatar and all the rest of it, and I really can't believe that it was ever in consideration that he was finished. But I could see why, and we'll not go into that because we spoke enough about the manager last season as to why that happened. But seeing him back being that threat again, he really is just a player that you can turn to dig you out a hole, whether it's in difficult away games, whether it's away in Europe, whether it's cup games. Like that guy, when he's on that form and he's playing with that sort of confidence, he's got the magic feet. He really is an absolute joy to watch. I think Ange summed it up in one of the post-match interviews that he done. Just unbelievably talented football player, and buzzing that we seem to have got him to that stage again. That he's probably one of the first names in the team sheet on.
Definitely, it's the old cliche. It's like a new signing because, as you say, the management team and probably a lot of fans, maybe some of us included last year or the year before, had sort of thought Tom Rogic's Celtic career was sort of dwindling down. And as much as I know a lot of people made compilations of Tom Rogic's best bits when he was looking like he was on the way out, but I don't think anybody was really protesting it. But it's great credit to Ange, it's great credit to Tom Rogic as well and the coaching team that they are able to get him back to this level, and it's magic to have him back, and he's just undroppable. Like, I know we were missing him for 6 weeks there, and it really, really did show. I know that's probably down to the fact that we don't have much in reserve at this moment in time. But at the same time, you take Rogic out of that Celtic team at any point, and when he's playing like that, then it's going to be a massive miss. Tony, one person who would have been delighted today would be Liam Scales, who scored on his league debut. It was a tidy finish and great for him to get on the score sheet. I know Ange spoke very highly of him after the game as well.
I can only give him a massive boost in terms of his confidence. It was a good finish. I think it took a slight nick, but he was in the right position to get there, and I was really happy for him. I've not really seen much of him. I think we had a cameo for him in the League Cup one against Ross County, I think, and I thought he was quite competent. I thought he was fine, so it'd be good to see more of him. I would assume he'd probably start on Thursday. It's a bit of a dead rubber. I wouldn't be risking any injuries. I'd be resting players for Thursday. It'd obviously still be great to win the game and finish on 9 points, but it won't really make any difference due to the fact that the current standings can't be changed regardless what happens. So I would give him a run out, and hopefully he can build on that today. So I couldn't be more happy for him. And I think Turnbull as well was really due a goal. He could have, again, he was one of the ones that could have scored more than once. So I was happy for everybody today. It was just a really complete performance. And that's where, as you say, players missing. Jota was missing, Ralston was missing. We've still got the likes of Julian to come back. I feel as though I've been saying that for about a year. Can't be far off that yet. I think he was actually in Dundee United. He did get injured again. So it's good for the likes of Scales to be getting a chance and then taking it. So for me, he starts on Thursday.
I will come on Thursday. Just one more thing I wanted to pick up on the Dundee United game. Danny, I know we'll probably have a look back at the Hearts game if we've got time, but there was a lot of talk about referees and assistants after Thursday, and it seemed to pick up a massive campaign in the media, so much so that you had Crawford Allen deciding that one decision that favoured Celtic was enough to come out on national radio yesterday and speak about it. But the day, like we speak about it when Celtic win, we speak about it when Celtic lose, when Celtic draw, whenever. But yet again today you had a tackle by Butcher of Dundee United, Butcher by name, Butcher by nature, who went in with a straight leg, studs up and caught Turnbull really, but really it was a really bad tackle, and on another day it could have ended Turnbull's season. Like it was a shocking decision, and it's just, what did you make of that? I know. Do I joke about it? You had a bet on Dundee United and Celtic cards, so you'd have been disappointed even more so that it wasn't a red card. But it was another assault on a Celtic player that was. It's worse than not being punished because it was given a booking, so it can't even get escalated.
Yep. No, you're right. I think I was waiting in booking points. I think Gerd would have tipped me over the edge, but it was one of the tackles that you see. I watched it on the telly, and it looked like a red card on the telly. Wasn't one of the ones that you see it again and go, oh, he got it. It looked like a really bad tackle. Turnbull went down Hodden, above him, and you thought, well, how's he caught him there? And then, you see it, and then it doesn't get any, when you see it in the replay, and it's a disgusting tackle. And the Dundee United bench has got a cheek shout for a throw-in. But the linesman's got to be close to that. I thought wee linesman doing that side gave us nothing the whole game. The fourth official's got to have seen that. Some that near that incident must have seen it if the ref didn't have the best view. I don't know how. It's a horrible tackle, and yet again, it's another assault on a Celtic that's went, no unpunished because he get booked, but it's almost getting him a licence to do it. He had Butcher had a bookable offence about 10-15 minutes later outside the box where he just turned the back, and he didn't get another red kit. When are we going to, the only surprising thing for me was that Turnbull never got booked, because Kickers was getting booked for being assaulted. Juranovic got booked for getting shoved at Dens Park. So the ref, the only consistency the ref didn't apply was no booking Turnbull. But, the reaction to Thursday night's been absolutely just ludicrous. I thought Kyogo was offside. I thought he was offside at the time. Seeing the replays, I thought he was offside. How Sky in 2021 don't have a camera that, in the right position is unbelievable. I've seen a couple of stills. It makes it look closer than it actually was. It's Christoph Berra's an ex-Hearts captain. He's a Hearts fan. He's watching that. He can't even say outright that it's like definitely offside. Chris Boyd could. Why Chris Boyd could say that, but like what you've seen in it is just unbelievable. And Robbie Nielsen in that talking about, I'll get to jail if I say what I really want. But when we went to time, we had a perfectly good goal that was disallowed. There was no shouts for VAR then. There were no shouts for VAR. Halliday put his studs into the back of Callum McGregor's ankle. Went out and commenting on it and saying it was a bad decision yesterday. Where he's not come out any other thing. And there's been a lot of bad decisions this year. So Celtic need to grow a backbone. But unfortunately for us, we've got Bankia, who probably slept the whole way through the game in his club suit. But it's time we came out, because how Crawford Allen was sleeking it to come out on national radio and be telling us that, the referee got that one wrong. And then he says, I'll always back the refs up, but when they do something wrong, I'll say it as well. Well, he's been very quiet the whole season when it comes to another decisions that they've been getting. So, just ludicrous. And it's getting to a point, Dan, where if Celtic were to bite back, I could see another referee.
Well, if that means they bring in officials from other countries again, then that might be for the best. But I completely agree with you. Like, where I sat at Celtic Park, it was pretty much in line with where Kyogo was. And if I'm being honest, I thought it was offside at real time. And then when you see the picture, it does look offside. But then I've seen angles also that make it look like it was in line. And there's arguments that Ralston was actually a bit further ahead than Kyogo. So if the ball travels backwards, then it should have stood anyway. But as you say, like, you've had people, probably petitions being signed. There's been contacting the UN, the EU, whoever else, and it just seems mad, because I know Ange's committed to not talking about referees, and he's been consistent in that all season. But the comment from Robbie Nielsen, and like even just skirting about it and not saying what's on his mind, like just come out and say what you want, because as you say, like he had nothing to say when they won on the first day of the season, despite Celtic having, as you said, Greg Taylor ruled for offside when he was clearly onside, and Andy Halliday getting away with an assault on Callum McGregor. And I'll be honest, I've not watched Sports Scene or listened to it from the Hearts game today, but I've not heard Robbie Nielsen out to apologise for claiming that Hearts should have had a penalty in the last minute as well when Gary Mackay-Steven tripped himself up. But maybe I've missed that. But it does seem insane that how much it's been blown out of proportion. And as you say, there's been countless decisions, and it's not just one club. There's probably every team in the league will point to a decision where they felt that they've been that hard done by.
And it's been against one team.
I know, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know what goes through his mind. If it was the BBC that contacted him, he thought, I need to go and say it. But
yeah.
And see, the thing is, he's speaking about, it looks like next season we could introduce like a sort of VAR-like sort of thing in the top league. But at this point, I don't even know if that's going to help Danny, because it's just, who's going to be watching it? It's the same people that are making these mistakes.
Oh, definitely. But see the most galling one for me was the Mackay-Steven. I watched Thursday night there. Andy Walker was like, he's clipped, and then it showed the replay. He's just stumbled, but you could tell Andy Walker was absolutely devastated. And the worst of that whole thing is, it's a free kick to Celtic right outside the box. Like Montgomery just gets totally took out after just gets barged off the ball. It's a textbook foul, but no. And then even in that game, like if that one went for us, right? That offside that went for us, but you talk about Starfelt getting offside in the second half when he's at least 4 or 5 yards on. And then there's one, I think it was in the first half when Hearts put a cross into the box and Starfelt headed that away, but the defence pulling him, his neck, and like the ball get cleared, and you think, like, if that was getting in, if Hearts player had got an end at it, he wasn't going to disallow it. But Celtic get a goal that is able, and all of a sudden, now we've just realised that the refs will be good enough. It's very, very sleek. And I was actually, people that follow me on Twitter, I just tweet 90 minutes about how bad the ref is, but it's I'm waiting. It's usually because I'm waiting on a booking or something for a bet. But I was actually quite angry when I heard that, because I didn't listen to the radio, but I was angry when people told me that Crawford Allen had been on. And I thought, if this is what tips the tip of the iceberg, if this is what brings him out of hibernation, like, you know, all because Celtic got a decision, it's unbelievable. And I mean, where do you go for here? They're talking about bringing in VAR. All of a sudden, that wee guy that manages Rangers, he wants it. Chris Boyd wants it. All because Celtic get one decision. But if I was in effect, Rangers would be in the bottom six. We'd be clear at the top of the league. I mean, be careful what you wish for, as one ex-Celtic manager said.
But that's the thing, like, see as well, seeing a Mercedes, but that is you talk about it being sleek, but it's the sort of narrative that it says, because you've got Dundee United fans at Tannadice today booing Kyogo for no other reason than the fact that he's been slapped and he's been pinched and whatever. Like, there's not been any outcry about that. And
the Kyogo
that's going to
things.
end up, like, you're going to have, whoever gets the derby in the 2nd of January is going to see Kyogo get lamped and just decide,
and then he'll get defended because Kyogo's got a reputation apparently, but
Yep.
the reputation's been forged because there was a video of him getting racially abused, and now people are trying to justify it after the fact by saying, like, 10 years. When
people
we say,
people are making compilations and
That's
he's
right,
getting
but
assaulted in everyone.
saying like 10 years when something happens and Celtic fans say, remember you sang about Kyogo, then it'll be like Alex Ray will be on Clyde saying, wasn't he only been racist, it was just because he was a diver or something. You know what I mean? That's what they're getting at. And like the way they're talking about Kyogo, it's like, he's there. Chris Boyd brought up, I'm glad to see Kyogo's staying after another knock. You can clearly see John Suter, who very weirdly went to grab him in the midriff and wouldn't let him go. So what Hearts players going after Celtic players' private areas, it's just bizarre. But it's a narrative they're trying to forge about Kyogo. And do you know what? I thought the wee man was brilliant again, and I thought he deserved a goal. What he gives to this team, the runs that he makes, I think it was, I listened to 67 Hail Hail, Stevie was on with the guy, and he made a great point. He says Rogic is one of the only few players in that team actually keep up with Kyogo on the same wavelength, and I thought that when Rogic is in, he look a lot more dangerous. Kyogo looks a lot more dangerous. And Kyogo, you're right, it's going to, all this leads up to Kyogo getting it done in the second, but just hopefully he scored a hat-trick.
Well, so it's not even just Kyogo, you've got the offsides as well, because Celtic had at least 3 of the day that were clearly onside, that were given it's offside, and I've got no doubt that had something to do with Thursday as well. And I'll come back to you. We'll speak a bit about Thursday. We've spoken about the so-called controversial points of that game, but it was another important 3 points, and pretty similar to the Aberdeen game. Celtic weren't brilliant by any means, and it turned into a bit of a slog, but seen it out. What did you make of Thursday's game? We've not spoken about it since.
It was a weird one. Like, I thought there was still a lot of chances that we had in that game as well. I mean, if we came away for that with a 3-0 victory, I don't think anybody would have raised any eyebrows. Like, there was enough chances there for us to come away with a victory, a convincing victory rather. It was one of the games though. It was made difficult by officiating decisions and whatever else, and Hearts were just there to boot for coups at times. I've no idea how Peter Haring never get booked. It still escapes me. But listen, we got the goal. Offside, onside, whatever the ref gave it, we got the goal. We seen the game out, which was massive. I think you say there was 3 substitutions with Ralston, Jota and Welsh, and I think all 3 of them were forced, didn't they? With injuries. Again, I think Starfelt, obviously, he looked as if he was struggling at one point, but he sort of kept pushing, made it through the game, thankfully. They had really sort of limited chances. They never really threatened. Didn't surprise us. It was just continue to see performances like that with teams at Parkhead who have no real interest in going forward.
They deserve that for missing a header for a corner.
Apparently so, Danny. Apparently so, but these daddies are always going to fucking talk shite and come out with nonsense like this. But at the end of the day, it was an important win. We got it. It was made up for a decision that was given against us when we played Hearts earlier on in the season. I'm sure everybody's seen clips of it again since. These things, as I say a million times, are leaving themselves out. So it's funnily enough, you don't see any of them mentioning that when they're talking about, obviously, the Kyogo goal. But listen, it was sort of seeing that performance, and then obviously, as I say, 3 players went half injured. We came into this game, and that was a big worry. But I think, looking at the 2 performances together, you're seeing a team that they've got both sides of it in them. Sometimes you need to win games, and it's not going to be a performance like we gave against Dundee United. It will be maybe a bit more difficult. There'll be hard tackles. There'll be things that don't go your way, but the team can sort of grind it out and see it out. And that's maybe what we missed at the start of the season. But again, that's probably expected because the manager was fresh in. There was a lot of new faces. I think it really showed how far we've actually came for the start of the season, that performance against Hearts. And then if you couple that with again today, you're seeing a team that really, when they get going, can be unbelievable. Some of the phases of play are frightening. So it was a good performance, I thought, against Hearts for what it was. And again, it set us up well to go into the game at Tannadice and go as obviously another massive 3 points.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Tony, I'll come to you as we preview the final game in our Europa League group stage. As we've already mentioned, it's a bit of a dead rubber. I think because it's a dead rubber for both teams, we're very likely to see changes from both teams. Is that how you would approach it? Would you see it as the opportunity to give some guys game time and give some guys a bit of a rest? Or is it a case of do you try and keep this momentum going and sort of look to the Lille game where it might give you that bit more confidence?
I don't get a chance to stick the boot into the referees and Chris Boyd first before I go into Thursday.
Right, go for it. It would be my pleasure.
No, I was just in terms of Madden, I thought, I really don't know why such a marginal offside goal that for Thursday nights caused such a meltdown for just about every club in Scotland, obviously one in particular. I mean,
because it was Celtic that scored it.
Or want me to condemn Kyogo because he's been slapped in the face, and then there's the one against Dundee where he genuinely hurt himself, but I don't think he was claiming for a penalty. He obviously, his head went into somebody's kind of chest area, but wasn't he? He's never claimed for it. I think David Bates hit his face, and then the penalty we got against Livingston, the guy gives him a slap in the back of the head. What is he meant to do? Well, of course he would go down. It's common sense. Guys shouldn't be fucking raising his hands. It's the laws of the game. So I think the kind of campaign against Kyogo the new is ridiculous. And but I think the major issue for people is that Kyogo's a very good footballer and he plays for Glasgow Celtic. I think that really winds people up, and that's why you're seeing so much nonsense. Like, I could never think of sitting and make a compilation of Rangers players keep getting fouled. I don't get that much time in my hands, but hey ho, I guess that's the narrative people are trying to set. And then Crawford Allen, I didn't hear his interview. I've obviously heard he came out and he wasn't happy with Madden's performance on Thursday because I don't know if it was because of the offside goal or maybe when he broke up play when Jota pulled up. I don't know exactly what it was, but you're thinking, where have you been the rest of the season when so many other decisions have been wrong and your referees are absolutely shite every week in, week out? I feel as though a shouting ball at the refs, and it's no do you think there's a conspiracy against us. They're just absolutely woeful. They're garbage. Their linesmen are hopeless. They're just piss poor. I mean, Bobby Madden, that's twice we've played Hearts and he's the ref, and twice he's let them off for completely cynical challenges without a booking. The one in McGregor for Halliday was at very least a booking. Probably a red, didn't get it. And there was one on Thursday, I can remember dead clearly. Tom Rogic turns a guy, is running away and gets pulled back. Definition, a cynical foul, doesn't give the booking. So things like that can change games if one of their midfielders or defenders on a booking earlier on. And then I think there was one they were time wasting and he gave us the throw but didn't book the guy for time wasting. So just absolute madness in terms of the referees. Chris Boyd, we know what Chris Boyd's like. I've seen people saying about barring for Parkhead. I certainly wouldn't take that approach. I would just put Sean Maloney next to him every time because he looks like the thick cunt he is when he's next to Sean Maloney, who I thought was absolutely fantastic today. Really good insight into the game and gave the other pundits a showing up because he has a very, very intelligent football brain. So, yeah, it was great to hear him. I'd like to have him at more Celtic games, and if Chris Boyd wants to sit next to him, I'm sure that'll be a real laugh. But going on to Thursday, I think both teams will whole rest players. They're obviously doing quite well. Betis, they'll be looking to the next round of the Europa, and the fact they beat Barcelona the other night, they're obviously trying to improve in the league. So I think both teams will rest quite a few players. It's a shame we can't. Well, there's nothing really to play for. It would have been good if we could have held out for the John Leverkusen in a right good kind of one-off knockout tie to see who would be going into the last 32 of the Europa, but it wasn't to be this season, which is fair enough. So, no, it's a chance to experiment it, but I mean, I would assume you maybe rest Kyogo, Giajetti another shot. If Carabocco Dembele's fit, I'd love to see him again. I genuinely think there's still a lot to come for him. He obviously took a really bad injury during pre-season, so if he is fit, then I'd definitely give him the chance. I'm trying to think who else you would probably throw in, but maybe even Liam Shaw and Urahidi. Give these guys a chance. Obviously, you can't change it too much, so you'll get badly beaten, but there's definitely an opportunity to change it up a bit. But for me, the main focus this next week will be Motherwell at home, another test. It's another game we may well win, 7 points behind and have a lot of pressure on our shoulders. So I would definitely rest Kyogo. I don't think we can risk him getting injured, especially with Jota out. And I could see them probably playing Abada and Mikey Johnson as well. So I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. I think it'll be a good game. I think, I'm sure we'll touch on it as well, the Bernard Higgins protest as well I was wanting to touch on, which have obviously were ramped up again today. I think Celtic State of Mind and probably just about every other podcast that's contributed to this charity weekend are signed the open letter to Michael Nicholson. As far as I'm aware, there's been no response, which is a real shame. I think that's it's a shame because you seen on Thursday night, I thought all the banners people had protesting Higgins were superb. It made the message very clear, and I don't know what the board are waiting on. They should be coming out and saying this guy will not be appointed under any circumstances, and that's it. And they can end this debacle because there is a real unity between the fans and the manager now, which is as clear as day. Fans in the team as well, and I just feel as though the board can't help but get in the way at times. So I've no doubt that come Thursday there'll be more stuff about Higgins, and Sunday and so on and so forth, until it's confirmed he's not getting that job, which he can't get. There's absolutely no way he can get that job. He might get it because of how daft the board are. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. But there must be somebody in that boardroom. I mean, it's full of guys that are multi-millionaires. There must be one of them's got a brain cell going, maybe we shouldn't employ this guy. We should release a statement to say we won't be. So that's the only kind of negative, in terms of the games are having to have these protests, which are absolutely justified, well behind them. But I just wish the board would provide some clarity.
Absolutely. I think the amount of time that's went by since it was first discussed to now is pretty diabolical. I think either come out and just say you're going to do it, and fans would still protest, of course, but it's the sort of hiding behind it and at the AGM saying, we can't talk about an ongoing process and that. Well, you may know we will talk about who you're interviewing, but you could have come out and says, this guy's no going to be anywhere near Celtic, and it would have put fans at unrest, because the bond between the fans and the players and the manager is very strong now. But every time they're coming out, they are seeing all these banners and the protest that then sparking that. And look, I don't think it's having a negative effect on the players by any means. I think the team are right behind it. I think the manager speaks very well when journalists try and trip him up, getting him to speak against it. But that energy that fans are putting into these protests could be further charged to putting more into the team and just keeping them going and making it an even stronger bond between the players and the fans. So as I say every week on here, our doors are always open to the club if they want to come out and clarify anything, or if they want to come on and let us know what's happening. We'll happily have them on just to question on it and just speak to them about it. But Danny asked Tony about Thursday, what about yourself? Is it dangerous to make too many changes? I know, as Tony said, Betis, they're in decent form at the moment. They're finished second in this group already, but they did win at the new camp this weekend. And as much as players might be benefiting from a rest, it could be sort of demoralising if we do get there and get an absolute hammering on Thursday night.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it means nothing. I'm on Thursday. I'm actually working Thursday night, so we'll get to see it. But I'm not that fussed, really. It's like that Cluj game a couple of years ago. See if we could just say to Betis, you take the 3 points and don't bother coming over. They would really bat an eyelid. So it's kind of... I was gearing up for it, a straight shootout between us and Betis, because I actually did think we were going to get something in Leverkusen, especially in the last 10 minutes. But no, I think that it's one of the inconveniences now, and the team could be doing without it. We could be doing with going into Motherwell fully rested, but especially playing Motherwell on a Saturday, but having to play on the Sundays a wee bit inconvenient. But obviously you don't want to take a down. You never want to tune in to watch your team take a pounding. Like Scales, Ayeti, McCarthy, Urigide I would bring in as well. I'd bring in Sorrow, because I think one or two Betis players he didn't kick in that first game. Maybe it'd be good for him to complete a set. I'd play Joe Hart. I'd keep Joe Hart in there because we don't have any other goalkeepers. Who else? I'd be inclined to give Taylor 6 days. Even with Scales in the team, I'd maybe play Scales at centre. But if he's got to play Scales, if he's not got to play Taylor, I'd play Juranovic at right back. I'd probably keep because I'd like him to right back more often. Nothing against Ralston, but I just think that the end game is Juranovic at right back. And then you don't want Kyogo getting injured. You don't want Rogic getting injured or McGregor. But again, we've got the greatest squad depth to be able to make 7 or 8 changes and, without play with the young boys. So it's just an inconvenience, but I can see it playing out. It would be like 2 each or something. I think it'll probably be a really entertaining game, but I feel sorry for the fans. I know you will be going. I feel sorry for the fans that are going because the way we've played in Europe this year, we probably deserved a shootout against Betis. Like, in the atmosphere, if we had to beat them by 2 goals and we got an early goal, it would be electric. The fans have been excellent this season. I think it was made a lot worse for us last year that we didn't get to voice our concerns. And when things haven't been going well under Ange this season, like a couple of draws at home and Livingston and Dundee United, I think, usually go to the games, but darn me talking our boy Andy, and he's been telling us it's poisonous today. I think it was the Dundee United game. And I thought that was just fans really having a chance to vent some sort of frustration, which we didn't have last year. But the fans have been outstanding this season, and hopefully we get rewarded with a cup because we've been asked to take a gamble. This guy, Postecoglou, nobody kind of knew before the start of the season, and now I just love a guy to bits, and he's like everybody's dad now. It's brilliant. But it's such a good atmosphere. Just what Tony said about the stuff. It's just such a good atmosphere about Celtic at the minute. You've seen it today with like the second goal and Big Andrew's turning around gesturing to the fans as if, are you entertained now? This is why I'm here, and do you liking it? And they're responding. And then at the end of the games, you can, the thing about Betis, he doesn't give an awful lot away, but you can tell he loves his name getting sung by the fans. Like, he gets a right good kick out it, which everybody would. I mean, what could be better than 60 fans at home and a couple of thousand away from home singing your name every week? It must be brilliant, and such a great connection there. And I don't think much would change that. But how many body blows do the club inflict on fans before the fans gee up? You know what I mean? It's like just some of the. It's like as if they deliberately want to pick a fight with us. It's just, I hate it. I hate everything about it, and I just like Tony. I know Tony's one for wanting the club to come out and do a statement. Normally I wouldn't agree, but this is totally justified. That somebody for Celtic just got to say, you don't even need to say we were going to give him it and now he's no. Just say this person will be joining the club in any capacity, and then the fans and the manager can get on with it being an absolutely massive second off for the season.
Absolutely, I think that would be I think people would still talk about it, but at the same time, if they just come out and clarify that, I think it would be a good point to at least move on from putting it to centre stage when you're planning tifos and demonstrations and that. So it would certainly be welcome, but I don't know if it will happen. And just on what you say about Ange, I thought the scenes at the end of the game today were brilliant, and seeing him with a scarf as well, it's like, yeah, I say it's just, everybody did take a gamble on him, and I know it came from left field, and look, from what we've heard, it might have been Lawwell's appointment. We never know who was really behind it, but the one thing that Ange has been that he's been his own man, and he's built his team. And look, I seen him the other day saying that it might still take 12 months to fully get to where he wants to be. And if this is the way we're playing now, then I personally can't wait to see us 12 months down the line, playing with more players and just brought in, and more players that have had time to develop under him and work under his training methods. And I personally think it's credit to guys like John Kennedy and Gavin Stratton, Stephen McManus as well, because they're all contributing, and a lot was made of that at the start about Ange bringing in these people, but the people who are there, like, it always seems to be when Celtic are winning, then you don't really hear about these guys, but when they're losing, it's Gavin Stratton's fault, it's John Kennedy's fault. So it's delighted for them as well. They seem really united, and I'm really happy to see.
You've not heard much about. I'm just saying, you've not heard much about Gavin Stratton this season. Last year, it was funny because when they did start to really go awry last year, I think I put it in our chat saying there'll be somebody who could like ITK knowledge that Gavin Stratton's taking training and the players don't like it. And then about 2 days later, it was on Twitter about if players are they take to Gavin Stratton's methods, and then everybody was making, we talk about mental health and stuff. Well, Gavin Stratton was free hit for anybody. Celtic fans were worse than anybody, commenting on his appearance and all that, things about his laptop and all the rest of it. And then Kennedy, it was like people were pausing when John Kennedy wasn't smiling just to post it on Twitter. And then, John Kennedy was out there doing God's work for February last year, and who, he'll do no wrong in my eyes, but it's like now they've got a winning, we're playing really early at the minute. Like, if take away the Leverkusen game, but I think is it like 11 wins in my last 13 games or something? Or is it 10 and 12, something like that anyway, but it's like a really good run. And you don't hear from people. And then Gavin Stratton turns his laptop round on the Christmas ad, and everybody's like, oh, Gavin's a great guy. He's not done anything different. Like, he's knocked back a Hartlepool to stay at Celtic. It's like he answered the call and all that now. It's like, it's such a great in the club. And obviously, you're right, these guys are contributing. It's obvious that they're contributing. And it's brilliant. And do you know what? Long may it continue. But it's funny. It's fun. It's a better place. And just as we're looking at that, I've been thinking all day, but last year felt like when we done this last year, it was great. We done it Saturday, but it felt like such an end to an era last year. It was as if, right, let's just get a Hearts game out the road, and then
we all thought
quadruple treble and brilliant, and the end of a very long successful period for Celtic. But now, like 12 months later, we're right back on the brink of something special.
But Andy, I'll just get you quickly on the Betis game. Do you use it as an opportunity to test yourself against one of these sides in preparation for your Europa League conference that we're going to begin in, or do you rotate the team to try and avoid burnout and potential injuries?
I think you've got to look at it as a bit of both. I think there's got to be changes. But a guy like Kyogo, I've said a million times, he's basically at the stage where he's played a full season, given he played half in Japan and then half here. So a rest can only be a good thing for him. Although the manager said before he doesn't want to miss any games, but it's a good attitude to have. So I'd maybe look at resting him. There's an argument to maybe even look at sort of resting Turnbull. It was mentioned already. He's sort of been picked every week for Ange. So again, there's certainly an argument there. I think we'll see a rotated team, but no ringing the changes, and I don't think he should. like you say, Taylor's just back from an injury, so he'll be looking to catch up on some fitness. I think I would play him. If you do maybe pull a centre half out, then Scales, he could come in. I would have Hart in, I would have Juranovic in. There would be a lot of sort of same faces that played today. Johnston again, he would be starting. You'll likely see Abada in for Forest. I've not really heard any update on him since he came off, but I think there'll be quite a couple of changes. Maybe Beaton into the middle of the park if he does sort of take a Rogic or something like that to allow McGregor to move forward. But maybe I would say 3-4 changes to the team's probably the right amount, and then again, as sort of the game gets past the halfway mark, touches about 60 minutes, you'll maybe see another couple of people coming off the bench, whether it is Shaw or Rigidi or somebody of that ilk, maybe even one of the young boys, if young Moffat or anything like that's available. But I think it will be. It's a test that we want. That was the same as one he's mentioned. It was when we were leading in Germany. I was just dreaming about this big sort of playoff between us and Betis at Parkhead, and it would be brilliant, and it'd be a right good European night. But listen, it wasn't to be. I'm sure we'll get one of the magic nights again soon. But you've got to use it as a chance for fitness, but also a chance for the team to play, a team who are playing at a really high level now. As I said, they beat Barca the other night. They're sitting like third in their table. And I mean, you'll arguably not come across a side as good as them in the Conference League. So it's a chance for players again to test themselves, to test the methods, to put things into practice that they've been working on, and use that as sort of a chance for players who haven't played already, haven't played as much as they wanted, to make their impact and make their case for why they should be in the team, and for the players who have to carry things on, and obviously work on themselves at that level.
Take a quick score prediction from you, Andy, because I know it's just past 8 o'clock, so your time slot's just a bit up.
I'll go for a score draw. A wee Desmond. I'll go for a 2 each. I don't think they'll be out to sort of overexert themselves either. I reckon if it's a tight game, they'll not be sort of ringing the changes to try and nick an our goal. But I'll go for a 2 each.
Right, I'll go next. I think both teams will ring the changes, but I just think Celtic might have a stronger 11 out, just due to the fact that we don't have much in reserve. I don't know how many of the Europa League squad are available. I think Celtic might nick it 2-1 and take a lot of heart from it, and 9 points in this group will have been incredible, and it'll be just unfortunate that it wasn't enough to take us through, but I'm hopeful that we can take some lessons from it and hopefully just come through without any injuries. So I am going to go for 2-1 Celtic, and who will play? I think maybe Ayeti will go on the score sheet like he did in Seville, and we'll go for a Carol Starfelt winner. Danny, is it you that's still with us? I know Lanny's has
I think
dropped
so,
out.
aye. Is it me?
Yep, aye, I can hear you. Aye, I'll take your score prediction, Danny.
I think it'll be 3-2. The Celtic, I'll be positive. I think you're right. Starfelt's going to get on the end of something very soon. He's been threatening before he got injured, and then he was in about it on Thursday night. I think he'll be close. And I think I'll give Ayeti an goal, and I don't care who gets the winner, but I think it'll be 2 each. Before we go, can I just give a shout out to big Stuart Finlay tonight, who's playing against Ronnie Dyler's New York City and for Philadelphia in the Eastern Conference Final, which is like basically a semi-final. Good friend of the show, Big Stu, and a very bad snooker player, so stick to the day job, big man.
Well, either way, you're going to have a Celtic connection winning that, so I guess I'll look to him. Hope he does well. We're just going to round up here. Before we go, I would just say thanks to Football Prizes, who we've partnered with. Our Henrik Larsson giveaway or raffle has sold out. That will be drawn tomorrow, which is Monday, in case you're watching this or listening at a different time. That'll be live on their Facebook page. So just go and search for Football Prizes. It's at 8:30 tomorrow. And thanks to everybody entered. Hopefully it's one of you that have won it, and you can let us know if it is. We will be back at some point after the Betis game, I would assume. If you're on a Celtic State of Mind here and you've never heard us before, but you've liked the cut our jib, then you can find us on our own YouTube channel, which if you just search for 4Tims a Podcast, you'll find us there. Please hit us a wee subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. And We post there, we post Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcast, you'll find us there. We're also on Twitter, just search for PodTims, Facebook, 4Tims a Podcast, Instagram, the same. And just a big thanks to everybody that's took the time to watch and listen to us, and a big shout out to the guys at A Celtic State of Mind for having us. It's a great cause again, and raised a lot of money for a great cause, and we are just delighted to have taken part. And check out the GoFundMe. If you can donate, it would be greatly appreciated, and even if you can share it, you never know who's going to see it that could donate. So thanks very much for listening, and we will see you another time. Cheers.